Today I'm gonna show you my platinum trophy collection and do my personal platinum game tier list, so be sure to stay tuned until the end. So here we are on psmprofiles.com and this is my profile. I'm level 303 and I have achieved 30 platinums. I got my PS4 Fat Boy back in 2016 and I was pretty much broke and still am to this day, so I really have not played that many games. My first platinum comes in 2019 and it was Need for Speed. I actually really liked this game back in the day and the platinum actually came accidentally by just playing the game a lot. My next platinum was Fallout 4, which I achieved during COVID times. This definitely took quite a lot of time, more than 3 years to get it, but I really enjoyed this game. I didn't actually find this platinum hard at all because I basically did every quest and I completed every location over the span of these 3 years. The only thing I definitely had to work for was the settlement one, but it was still quite simple. We jumped quite some time and now we're in 2021 where I achieved the platinum of The Crew 2. This platinum I really actually enjoyed because of the insane amount of opportunities you can explore and do all over the USA. I love racing games, so this really felt good to get the platinum. LA Noire, or as I like to call it, La Noire, is the game I really think is one of a kind. I remember jumping from car to car and redoing the whole game again just to get all the answers correct to get the platinum. But the game itself is amazing, it has amazing story, the detective work that you do is just something that you have not seen in other games. Subnautica is another game I really enjoyed. The whole exploring and building was amazing. I do remember that I didn't get a few trophies, so I had to cheat my way through the developer mode in order to get them. Nonetheless, still an amazing game to platinum. Lego Ninjago Movie is a game I played basically because I just didn't have what to play and I was bored. I started it as a joke, but it was actually quite chill and nice to play. Rocket League was another game I played quite a lot casually, and one day I realized that I was really close in the platinum, which was basically just doing some season against AI. Right after that I completed my first ever Assassin's Creed Platinum, which was Syndicate. Now this game overall is quite controversial with having to deal with two characters and the weird parkour system with the ziplines, but I actually liked it at that point. Now looking at it from my current perspective, it's a weird game. The platinum was also weird, especially this trophy, which I remember I grinded for days. Days Gone, this is definitely top 5 my favorite games I have ever played. Platinum wasn't too hard and I got it in 1 week and 4 days. But I think that's because I was just playing it non-stop. Assassin's Creed Origins. This was my first RPG assassin game. This one was very confusing at first, but over time I got used to it and it was quite enjoyable. The platinum wasn't that hard either for me because I was basically exploring all by myself naturally and the platinum really just popped up accidentally. Far Cry 3. One of the best in the franchise, amazing story, Vaas as a character is on top. Again, platinum is quite simple if you actually enjoy and play this game casually. Okay, so here we are in 2022 September, which is almost a year ago. At this point, I gave myself the idea of doing platinum videos, so this is where my actual trophy hunting started. Up until that point, I got 11 platinums, so in almost a year, I got 19 platinums, which I guess is okay. Assassin's Creed Ezio Trilogy. I'll go over all these 3 games at once. Assassin's Creed 2 was amazing, everything was so good. It's an all-time classic. Platinum fairly easy, no such thing as side objectives and missions. Feathers were a bit grindy, I remember, but I actually achieved the majority of them while just casually playing, so for me it wasn't that bad. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood is a damn masterpiece, you can't complain about it at all. It had everything you would have wanted in a perfect Assassin's Creed game. Platinum is fun, though it does get hard with some missions, especially like the tank one and all the collectibles, but it was really fun to do. Now, Revelations was weird. Out of all these 3 games, it's the worst, but if you compare it to the other Assassin's Creed games, it's still pretty good. This platinum was my first video on YouTube, so it gives me some nice sentimental value. Farming Simulator 19. Now, this is probably weird again, but I adore Farming Simulator. Overall, any simulator game, I am a massive fan of them. The platinum is quite grindy, like doing 100 missions or doing loads of work like 100 hectares of sowing and harvesting, and for my American friends that's around 250 acres. And you had to do all of this in a single save, which was quite difficult because I lost maybe like 5 or 6 saves. Need for Speed Heat. It's a decent game, fun to play, but nothing exactly too remarkable to remember. Grindy with the 3-star activities, but as you can see, I achieved it quite fast in a week and 1 day. Assassin's Creed 3 and Liberations I also achieved together because they were in the same basically game. but these games are both really different. Like, one is really good in my opinion and the other one is awful. Assassin's Creed 3 is an amazing game, very good story, but the side objectives were so annoying, but most especially the board games. Like, why would you need to do them? My god, that's awful. Like, the amount of pain it caused me, like mental and physical, I did not enjoy that. So the game I enjoyed, but not the board games. Assassin's Creed Liberation. Short game, but also a shitty game, full of bugs and glitches. I did this platinum mostly because of just the idea of getting every Assassin's Creed platinum. Do not recommend. Don't play it. Seriously. Stray was a wonderful, adorable, touchy game. My girlfriend played it and I jumped at the end just to get the few remaining collectibles and the speedrun trophy. Overall, this game is amazing, especially knowing that it's an indie game. Last Stop is another fictional indie game. There's really nothing special about it, but it was fun and the platinum is very easy and fast. Mafia is generally one of my favorite platinums ever. First of all, the way they remastered the game was amazing. It really felt like a different game than the original. Platinum is also perfect. It has amazing balance with the game difficulty, the race, which I actually somehow did it on my first try, and the collectibles. And also, I have no idea how, but I achieved it in 2.5 days. This game requires 25 hours to do, and even to this day I don't understand how I did it that fast. Far Cry New Dawn is an amazing game if you played Far Cry 5 before. The way the story and the locations link up is amazing and really underrated. So the platinum actually is fairly easy, but again, this game is just so underrated and you should all play it. Assassin's Creed Unity is a game I always wanted to play and the platinum was a masterpiece. Best parkour, one of the best stories, and one of the best cities to take place, Paris. Platinum is very simple but quite grindy with all the collectibles. And stupid online. Wolfenstein New Order is a weird one also. It was hard, really hard in places, but I personally didn't find it as hard as other YouTubers did. Platinum is hard mostly because of the slow pace in order to succeed, which might make you rage if you start failing and failing. Assassin's Creed Odyssey will probably be a controversial one because I think it's better than Origins, Syndicate and probably Revelations. Like, it's a really good game. I just really enjoyed this game, story is good, the environment looks stunning and the cutscenes are almost perfect. Need for Speed Payback was a game I played, saw the amount of 3-star activities I had to do in order to get the platinum and quit. A year later, I went on and did it. This game is weird cause it's good, but the stupid car lock to each category thing kinda ruined everything for me, honestly. Assassin's Creed Rogue. This is what Liberation should have been. This game is a baby Black Flag. Amazing game, it features characters from previous games, and most importantly, it made me understand what the f happened at the start of Unity. Sailing was super fun, so I really enjoyed this game. Watch Dogs 1 and Watch Dogs 2. I loved Watch Dogs. The original game was very cool. Story is awesome, the online is quite bad, the platinum is actually quite grindy with the amount of stuff you need to do. Watch Dogs 2 I did not like that much at all. It was good, but the story was a bit all over the place and the overall quite a slow paced game. This is definitely controversial, but I think this is much worse than Watch Dogs. And my latest platinum comes of being Lake. It's just a really cute indie game. It's a really similar to Last Stop, easy and fast platinum, cozy. Here slowly I will go over my platinum, just for my whole collection so you can see it, what I have and what I have not. So now let me show you how I would put all these games in a tier list. Need for Speed from 2015. It's an okay game, but there's really nothing too special about it. Fallout 4, I think this is an S tier game. I just loved it so much. It's one of my favorite games still. The Crew 2, I think it's better than Need for Speed, but it's not perfect, so A tier. LA Noire, S tier. It's really good. You should play it. I mean, again, all these games that are in S tier, I recommend to everyone to play it because they're really good. A tier, I guess they're good, but I mean, it depends on you and so on. Subnautica S tier. Like, you can't really go wrong with it. Like, I think everyone would like this game. Lego Ninjago, it's a C tier. It's not awful, but it's just a bit childish. Rocket League, it's mixed emotions. I would put this probably B tier because it can get good, but it's quite toxic with the community. Syndicate, I think back then when I completed it, I would say it's like A tier, maybe even S, but now I would put it as in like B tier. This gone S tier. Don't even try to write me something that it's not an S tier game. This game is perfect. Origins, I would say that Origins is... Now I don't know if was Origins better than Syndicate or not. No, I think it's the same as Syndicate. I think it's also like a B. Far Cry 3 is it S tier? No, I would say it's A tier. It's a good game, but it's not perfect. Like this, you're a bit limited with what you can do, but the story, the game is still like really good. In Assassin's Creed 2, S tier. Brotherhood, S tier. Don't even come at me, these games are perfect. Revelations, B tier. Full, A tier, sorry. This game is really good, but it's not S tier. Farming Simulator, I will put it as S tier just because I love Farming Simulator, but for some people it's probably like even like D tier, but for me it's S tier. Need for Speed Heat, you know what? I think Need for Speed Heat is B tier, but this one is C tier, probably, because I mean I think that The Crew 2 is a bit better. Assassin's Creed 3, I think this is S tier. I think it's better than Revelations, honestly, and other these two games. Stray also S tier. There's just no competition for this game. It was one of the most cutest and adorable games that came out like in I think last year or the year before. I don't know. Liberation D tier. Awful. Don't play it. Never. Don't even try. You will suffer, honestly. Last Stop, it's D tier. It's not awful, but it's just a game that you would play once and never play it again. Mafia is an S tier, again, I already said it, it's one of my favorite games of all time. Far Cry New Dawn. Now, I wanna say that it's similar to Far Cry 3, but at the same time Far Cry 3 is much better, so I guess I will have to put this here, because I don't think that Far Cry 3 is S tier. Unity, another S tier game, and you can't really say anything about it. It has everything. Wolfenstein, I think it's an A tier game. Now, you might be mad about it, but I like this game. I think it's quite good, though I haven't played the other games in this series, so maybe after I play some other games in this series I might change my opinion and put this maybe lower. Odyssey, this is gonna be a big controversial thing, but I think it's S tier. For me, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I would say it's actually like a top 3 Assassin's Creed game for me. I would say my top 3 games for Assassin's Creed would probably be like Unity, in like no order, but basically Odyssey, Unity, and probably like Brotherhood, honestly. Now, I don't know, I might get killed by this, but please, this is just my opinion, okay? Need for Speed Payback. I didn't like the locking car system, it's C tier. Rogue? Now, I don't know if it's perfect. I mean, yeah, I think it's perfect also. Like, it's S tier. Because the story is just one of a kind, like, you become a Templar. It's just so weird, like, there's like no Assassin's Creed game has done this, and this was the first game, and it still has been the only game that has done this. It's a really good game. Watch Dogs 1, another controversial thing. I think it's S tier. I think this game is really good. I will definitely get burned by this. I think it's a really good game. Sorry guys, but this is what I think. And for this game, no, this is like C or D tier. You know what? I think this is C tier. Like, I didn't enjoy the story. It was boring. Like, I was jumping on and off the game because I would just get so much bored doing the story missions. And Lake, it's a good C tier game. You played it once and you will never play it. Same with these games. So basically, like, what this tier list would mean now, because I just finished and this is how it looks now. So basically, D tier is do not recommend, never play. C tier is like play it once, but you will never like pick it up ever again in your life. B tier is like it's good games, they're okay games. You might pick them up at some point just to play because they were actually quite decent, but they weren't like super good. A tier I think is like in between S and B tier. There's like, you might come back to them like more often and they're good, but again, they're not perfect. And S tier, these games are just top of the line. They're just really good and you will definitely enjoy playing them. Well, at least I did. And this is my opinion, but again, this is what I recommend you play. This is S tier. Anyway, so this was my Platinum collection and my tier list. As you can see, there is a few games I haven't published yet. For example, Watch Dogs 2 or The Lake. So videos on these games will be coming out soon. So stay tuned, subscribe to this channel, and see you guys next time.